Hey, I'm Kev Hillman. Welcome back to MXGP3 as we're moving from South America to Central America and the Leon circuit in Mexico. And it is a wet Mexico as well, as Leon was one of those tracks which I was a big fan of in MXGP2. You know, it's very tight as you can see, but it's got some good jumps, got a good flow going. But in the wet, that might be a bit different. So here we are, tackling this Mexican track. And already it's feeling a bit different with all of these ruts. With the wet weather as well. I can't be as flat out already, it feels like, from MXGP2, as going through the middle sector, got a big scrub opportunity. Nicely done there. As there we go, got into that rut. Another scrub opportunity. Almost failed though. You can see why I like this Leon track though. Nice little mounds here. Mostly fast sections, probably a bit faster in the dry. So we went a bit wide. Can we get back on track? Just about. Yeah, there's lots of kind of third gear corners or fourth gear corners. Lots of jumps, so you can see another set of mounds here. We're coming towards the end of that. It's actually a bit longer than it was in MXGP2. Oh, it's around a minute 40. This looks like it's a mid-minute 40. But we'll see at the end of this that. As you've probably seen in qualifying so far. Now, our pace can be a bit exaggerated against the opposition. Oh no, that's too much scrub. But that cost us, as that was the final corner, the final proper corner. It will. So only do a 49. Disappointing return to Mexico so far, as they did not want to do another effort. Let's return to the bit. And let's see where we're going to be on this grid for the first time in a long while. We're not going to be right at the front. It's going to be a Swiss rider on the Suzuki, and the Brunner has Varner Herdings in third. Venturing on the Yamaha. And the Kawasaki making it 5 manufacturers in the top 5 from Petrov, ahead of Donkov, Bogues, Covington, Fernandez and Jonas, with Guardini in 11th in the TN. The Belgian on the Yamaha in 12th. Montesedi on the KTM in 13th, and Hillman in 14th. So they've kind of gone the opposite direction. It already feels like with Mexico, it was a bit too easy now. It should be too now. Might even be hard. It's GP3. As you can see, we've got a couple of talents on the house runners right at the back with my teammate Getterman in 20th on the KTM. So disappointing qualifying efforts. That Rainer Beard is going to go through the roof once again. And let's see what we can do in the race. As this is unusual, we're not at the far left of the camera shot there. We're right in the middle. Even getting some TV time. So alongside Montesay and the Russian, but South African to our right, Belgian to our left. And we're stuck in the middle with nowhere to go. Off the start line. As the Swiss retains his lead. Oh, gets a bit packed though. Into the first proper corner, and then we're going to run a bit wide. We're pushing someone else wide here. Really struggling for grip. So trying to battle our way into the top 10. Gonna do a scrub. Went underneath someone, did we? That's an unusual move. We made it work just about. Just battling for a top 5 here. And oh! I had too much bravery going into that corner, but we're up to 4. Slicing the way through the field as we're past the Swiss rider on the Suzuki. It's that Herdings we've got the chase down at the front. The Dutchman. It's all almost off the track again into that corner. So back down for third, and look how dirty our jersey is already. Got 4 more laps. I'm just going to be mud by the end of this race as we take the lead. Past the Red Bull rider. Also a fellow KTM rider as well. Well, he's our rival this season. We've got a great start. And oh, this section so tricky. Yeah, it should be too, because that first jump was kind of a bit more exaggerated, I think, from what I can remember. That's all the Russian had a superb start. And it's now dropped back after that crash. Oh, he could be so much more aggressive as well in that final corner. Across the line. In first. Did not expect that after qualifying, so maybe qualifying in the race in the opposite direction, pace-wise. Around here, where in qualifying it can be a bit harder, but then in the race it can be a bit easier. Because all the flags are coming out to play here. It's almost a flag showroom. Look at it all on the right-hand side. Not many flares, from what I can tell. Giving out on the download here in Mexico. So many flags. And jumps as well. Let's go over these set of mounds. Beautiful set of mounds. You've got the guys standing up high inside of the track, just like we had in Argentina last time out, where we had a superb outing. And it looks like we're going to have another one in Mexico. Going up the Americas. Oh, we've lost the bike. I thought I held it. Doesn't look like it, as I'm struggling to get away in 4th place. So that's a different one for the conditions there, where maybe in the dry I would have saved that, but in the wet I tried my best. We're going great. So battling for a podium here. And oh, we go wide. Got reset. Now we are struggling in the race. Down to 7th. Got a battle on our hands here. Good to see. We can finally have an interesting race. After a couple of very innocuous ones. There's something knocked that rider out of the groove, so up into 5th. But in the second lap. And oh! Did not get that scrub at all, right? That almost pushed my rider off course there. So the hammer held on. And oh, he's into the barrier. What the hell is going on with the hammer? And look how close it is in the midfield. We're down to 15th. Lost 10 positions because of that crash. Look how mental he is in front. How are we going to survive this? Going through this pack. It's already made up of a position. Oh, there's a brave ride in the middle of 3 scrubbing. Because that's the corner where we can really gain time and make some moves. Up into 12. Now over the mounds, trying to make it into the top 10. What we do, just about holding on to the edge of the track. Lose that position. That's it. Oh my god, we're kicking up the barriers. He's all over the place, Hillman, this race. So battling to get back into the top 10. We're struggling to keep on the track. I told you it's a bit tighter in most circuits. So oh, back into the top 10 now. Welcome return. It's all a bit too tight into that corner. There we go, over the jumps. Managed to back it up nicely in the middle there. And that was a nice flow into that right hand hairpin. Back into 8. Got half the job done on this third lap. He's got another 7 positions to make up for the end of the race. Oh, where are the AI going? Up into 7th. It's like a bit of a glitch there where they get out of the groove like you saw in the second lap. It also seems to make them launch themselves into the barrier. That's a bit disappointing to see. That's a bug fix. Hopefully they can work on milestones with barge rate back into the top 5. The hammer known for his aggression and showing it off there. So you can really slide the back end out round it. This track, as I said, feels pretty nice. Feels like the wet conditions as well. It feels like it would be very different in the dry. It would take a bit more liberties. Let's look at that barging way back into 4th. Can he grab the win? This would be some comeback after a couple falls, a reset, poor qualifying. But he never gives up, does Hillman. You're seeing it here once again. Where pace-wise, he can be on an island at times. Maybe he's showing it again in this race, despite all the mistakes. That's it. Lift off for the first mount and then just control the throttle for the rest. So we are batting our way back onto the podium, maybe. Oh, yes. There's big scrub to end of that. Take that final corner in 3rd. So much more pace, and at the front, so trying to get away. But we do a 41, our fastest out by country mile. And this race is covered in is down the American. Behind in that frantic mid-pack, no surprise. Someone has gone down. It might be due to the glitch as well. For the American. But this won't see another top 10 run maybe ended for him. As we're trying to catch the top 2. We're taking buckets of time out of them on this final lap. Definitely are in the groove now. It's taken a while to get in the groove around here in Mexico, but the tricky conditions, a very tricky track as well. Our own mistakes have led us down this path of a frantic finish. Look at that top 2 right in front now. So that's where we kicked up the barrier from the further lap. Seems an age ago now. There's a bit of a gap now to 1st. He's kind of broken away from 2nd. Had to let up there. Could not make a move down the inside. Kind of compromising our line into that corner as well. So we go over these set of mounds. Oh, very aggressive on the first round, just about holding on and taking 2nd. But is there enough time to take 1st? I fear not. But what a comeback. After dropping down to 15th halfway through this race. And to finish just behind the winner. Hillman, his run is ended, but he finishes 2nd. Nice scrub to end the race. As we have the other Dutchman winning it. Bogues on the KTM, making it a 1-2 for KTM as we're 2nd behind at the finish with Fernandez on the Kawasaki in 3rd. Good to take Kawasaki up there. We've been a bit lonely down in the midfield so far this season, with Herdens making it 3 KTMs in the top 4 in 4th, ahead of Tonkov, the lead Yamaha of the Frenchman, then Bernardini in 7th on the TM, then the Suzuki, the Pullman down in 8th. Disappointing race for the Swiss rider. Then Montesedi in 9th on the KTM, making it 5 KTMs in the top 9. Then the Brit and the Husqvarna down in 10th. Disappointing race for him. With re-scrolling down, we can see Petrov in 13th. Jonas in 14th on the KTM. What a disappointing race for him. Covington in 15th, Osland in 17th, and the Italians are still right at the back with my teammate down in 19th. So not a race win for Hillman, but I think he'd take that after disappointing qualifying and a very disappointing first half of the race. But what a battle back in the second half of the race. Can you convert that pace into a win in the second race and perhaps take the overall, as well as look at that rainability going through the roof. And so here we are for the second race. See the camo and almost looks like he's going into quicksand there as he operates along the front of the bikes as we rev it up, holding the clutch in and getting away. Oh, a decent start. Seemed to just lag though, going up the gears as the Brit takes the whole shot on the Husqvarna. As we're right at the back, look at this, down in 19th. We've got some moves to do, and oh, we've definitely got some moves to do. We dropped it down to last. This is comeback point 2.0 right here, but now we've got a whole race to play with. Can we make it work? That's the first race was just practice for this race, it's turned out. And oh, well, that's aggressive. Using one of the Italians of the brake there, but over the mounds, we're making some moves. Back into the top 15. Oh, there's a bit of a late scrub there. I had to really pull out of that quite early, or else that would have been a 4 in the landing. Down the inside here. You can see how congested it is in the midfield in this first lap. Battling for the top 10 already. He's back in the top 10. Up into 9th. Actually into the top 10 for the first time in this race. I forgot. Started outside the top 10. Back into 9th. And did not have a good second mound there. Really dug in, it felt like, the wheels, and landed a bit awkwardly. They are leaning forward, trying to take over that 8th place, and we just about do. So had to get it down to second gear, but there you go, there's that glitch. Very disappointing to see that I wasn't caught before this game got released. As we're trying to go around the outside of the Swiss ride again, disappointing race pace for him. We go up into 5th. And there we can see 4th and 3rd, 2nd and 1st, already trying to make a run for it. Right at the front. Let's go a bit wide. Settle down and Suzuki back past us, not quite. So there we go. Let's scrub it like all of them. Looking down the inside. No room there at the moment as all. That was a dangerous scrub. And the rider in front, was that Herdins? As it cost them a position. Just going round the outside, the Frenchman onto the edge of the track, almost losing the bike again. Massive jump. I'm surprised not all the riders scrub into that. Oh, the jump as they almost pushed the Frenchman over. He's not going to be the biggest fan of us at all. We've already had a couple of clashes with him. As we're up into 2nd. What happened to the 2nd place there? Shocking jump. Let's go back down to 3rd. Just to get the revs out the corner there. Get some traction going as well in the middle of the corner. And now we've just got one guy to focus on in front. On the 2nd lap. Who would have thought this after the 2nd corner? We've definitely got the race pace around there. It definitely is a reversal of all the other races so far. As too much scrub. Massive air. Down to 4th. So we've got, is that Bogues next to us? Or is that Hurlins? As you hold on to 4th, take over the podium spot ahead of the Brit on the Husqvarna. Of course, he was on the Kawasaki. MXGP3's made the switch, and definitely looks to be a wise switch as well, at least in game terms. Can't remember how it worked out in real life for him, but again, Kawasaki was back there. Welcome relief in the first race, getting that podium with Fernandez. So chasing another Frenchman, and it's like on the Yamaha in 2nd. Buttrell, is that how you say it? Or Buttrell. As we get a great set of mounds. And he's batting his way by. It's very aggressive with us. No surprise there, the hammer. It's given him some treatment so far this season. That's probably for all those 2nd places to begin the season. They could have been first for him. As first. As he's really made a break for it in this race. As around halfway through it. Back up into 2nd. And now we've got like a 3 or 4 second gap to make up. And here comes the French. He's not had enough of us. Definitely not finished with us. Fantastic battle for 2nd. This is what can happen when your opponents, when it just works, it can be beautiful. As we had the major scrub over that jump again. As first made the mistake in front. We go across the line onto the penultimate lap of the race. We've got a battle for the lead. Unfortunately, could be due to circumstances out of our opponent's control. Let's go into the 3rd corner. But now it's just like a 2 or 3 second lead rather than almost a 5 second plus lead we had to make up. So it's going to be close. Just like the first race, it's going to be very close at the end here. Definitely get your popcorn out if you haven't already. Just going over those set of mounds. Getting a bit of a disappointing aspect that this game kind of carries over from MXGP to that kind of own advantage over mounds if you just keep the momentum. But I guess that's like real life. If you keep the momentum up, of course you're going to have a major advantage over a rival who's kind of struggling a bit, but even normally, you can see just over these mounds, taking like half a second out, you can really see first as you come to the end of this lap and into that hairpin. Another tricky set of mounds as we almost run into the table of the steward there. Look at that steward, it's almost every meter. Amazing how many stewards we have. Oh no, the glitch has happened again. So across the line, Hillman takes the lead. As all we do run right. Without allowing a fellow KTM rider back by is. We've got a battle on this final lap for the win. It'll be second again for Hillman. It will be the overall of the victory. Unless that is Bogues, then I think we share the overall. Oh, that's a whip and a half. As you go past the Grandstand of Nations there with so many flags. Got a couple of Mexican flags, Spanish flags on our outside. Got slightly distracted into that corner. Is that what you're trying to do here, Milestone? Distract me with all those flags, so I don't win this race. I see what you're doing here. There's elbow to elbow over the huge jump. Trying to cut back here. Have we got the run? Oh, not quite. That's halfway through this final lap. It's still not decided, even though we now take the lead over these mounds. Where it unfortunately decided over these mounds in the middle part of the race. Middle part of the lap, sorry. Middle part of the race was ages ago. Just flown by this race. There you go, we've survived those tricky set of mounds, perhaps the trickiest on the whole of the calendar. So it really is about timing and rhythm. Perhaps Argentina from last time can match them. With again a set of mounds right near the end of the lap. Of course, ours most of the time. The set of mounds almost did most of the time as well. To cross the line, and it is victory for Hillman. It is overall for Hillman. And it's a championship lead once again for Hillman. So he's going to maintain it as Herdings was second on the KTM. A welcome return to form for the Dutchman, battling for the win. But in the end, almost 5 seconds back. Just ahead of Preturul, ahead of Jonas, who returned to form as well after that poor first race in fourth. Bernardini in the top 5 on the TM. Fantastic result for the Italian ahead of Bogues, our first race victor. The Brit down in 7th, Compton in 8th, Petrov in 9th, and Fernandez back down to rarity in 10th on the Kawasaki behind his Bulgarian teammate. Tonkov 11th, and look at that Swiss rider, poor race once again, down in Travers. Where's my teammate down in 18th? We've got Hasvano of the Italian right at the back. So it is the overall by 7 points over the Dutch pair of the KTM pair of Herdings and Bogues. And in the championship is now a 29-point lead over a race win lead over the Frenchman, with Herdings in third, just ahead of the Brit. Then Bogues in fifth, a bit of a gap now to sit for Tonkov, with Jonas 7th, Bernardini in 8th, very solid for the Italian. That's also Swiss down in 9th on the Suzuki. Disappointing results mean he's hanging on to a top 10 ahead of Covington and Monteseri, with Fernandez in 12th. So a fantastic weekend in the end for Hillman. Had some tough races there. Really had to battle away for the whole of the race to get our results there. After disappointing qualifying as well. Very tricky conditions, a very tricky track in Mexico, but fantastic track as well. And good to see the wet conditions kind of come to the fore there, as well as to improve all of our skills up into the 60s for braking, throttle management and control, and our rain ability up to 56. But I'll be back next time with hopefully some more back then races and some more Hillman magic as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.